What is up, my peoples? I'm on my way to work. Just got through the crappy construction that's going on over by my house. Anyway, so this morning, crazy session in the gym, man. I think volume weight was like 22,000 pounds. Excuse me, my sinuses are acting crazy. But, 22,000 pounds, man. I lifted really heavy this morning. Concentration on core and back. Felt really, really good. The gym was a little bit busier this morning than it has been in the past few days, but it was cool because everyone was really, really cool. We were able to rotate through, and it didn't slow down my circuit at all. It was pretty awesome. When did I want to? Sorry, complete loss of track there. So in the last video, I was talking about vibes, right? And what you put out is normally what you build around you. The same is said when it comes to your work ethic. Something that drives me nuts, really, really pushes my buttons, is when you got these people that are leaders, right? Like your management teams, your bosses, whatever the situation may be. And these leaders don't have a clue what they're doing. And what I mean by they don't have a clue what they're doing, they're not really leaders. They don't really set the bar. They're kind of mediocre. They have the same work mentality that you do. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to down anybody, alright? Might be a good thing, but generally the leader is supposed to be the example. Back when we were kids, I'm sure you've heard it. I heard it a bunch when I was a kid. Lead by example, right? If you and your friends are playing and you guys are doing something wrong or whatever, generally, if you try to push the blame off on somebody else that was with you when you were doing whatever that was that you did wrong, generally your parents would say to you, you're supposed to lead by example. Or if your friends jumped off the bridge, would you do it too? Those kind of scenarios, right? Well, your work ethic is the same way. And this goes out to everybody. This isn't just me talking to the people that are in leadership roles. This goes out to everybody, because here's the thing. To become a leader, you have to cultivate the work ethic of a leader. And the only way to cultivate the work ethic of a leader is by working as if you were already the leader. And your work ethic travels, right? So, for instance, any of you guys out there that have kids, you guys can relate to this. Anything you do, your kids pick up on. If you say certain phrases, if you act a certain way, your kids generally pick up on it. Well, the same is said when it comes to working environments. Your work ethic generally has impact on anyone and everyone else that is within your work group. So if your work ethic is really crappy, chances are it's going to kind of carry over, unless that person is really resilient to general peer impression. So if you slouch off, if you goof off, if you don't take your work seriously, chances are your team will do the same. These people that you work with closely, start to carry the same attitude. leaders, it's the same way. You know, if you lead crappy, chances are your team will be crappy, not because you have a bunch of say-so and control and whatever, but simply because if you don't take it seriously, they're not going to. Hold on. Get past this one. Anyway, so that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at this morning is your work ethic is very, very, very important, because your work ethic can travel. It can be picked up. It can be picked apart by anybody, and there's really not a whole lot you can do or say about it, because it's the example in which you're setting. So, you know, if you're a leader and your work ethic is crappy, and you produce crappy work through your team, then, I mean, you really have no one to blame but yourself. If you are just a worker, like if you don't have a leading role in anything and you just show up to work, if you slack off, act stupid or whatever, and you don't get your task completed in the time frame or whatever, you have no one to really blame but yourself, because the thing is, people are going to pick up what you put down. That's just the way it works. So you got to think about these things, like when you're on the job, when you're dealing with work situations, when you're being an example of things to people, you have to pick up on the fact that what you put down is what they're going to pick up. So it's like super, super important that you give the right impressions, that not only do you give the right impressions, but you're legitimate about it, you know? I always say all the time to my team, I will never ask you guys to do anything that I won't do myself. And I don't. Like, anything that they get into, anything I tell them to do, man, I'm normally in it with them. I normally get elbows deep into it as much as I can with them. Because that's what I believe a leader is supposed to do. You know, you can't lead from a pedestal. You can only lead by being on the ground and a part of the troops. It's kind of I've got kind of like that old school, you know, warrior mentality when it comes to that, because, all right, for instance, the story of 300, right? You have King Leonidas. He's leading his troop of 300 men into the Hot Gates to basically battle the Persian Empire. Now, does he go into the floodgates and like sit on the backside of the line? No. Does he command it from Sparta? No. He's right there. He's on the ground. He's fighting with these guys. He's going to war with his troops, like the people that he has command over. He's not leading from some like underground facility somewhere where he's utterly safe. He's not doing any of that, man. He is commanding his team from the ground, and he is going through the motions and the war and the blood and the guts with them. Like, he's laying his life on the line with them. That's the best depiction of leadership I can ever come up with. When I think leadership, that's what I think. I think of King Leonidas at the forefront of 300 men in the Hot Gates, taking on whatever comes his way with his squad, you know, with his troops, whatever lingo you want to throw on that. So that's kind of the mentality I carry when I lead. Like, I want to be on the ground. I want to be with my team. I want to be going through the crap with them. So whenever there's well, why do I need to do what you tell me to do thing? Well, it's because I'm just like you, man. I'm working just as hard as you are. I'm sweating just like you are. I'm going through this just like you are. I'm not sitting in a room somewhere trying to command you and tell you what to do. I think one of the one of my favorite inspirational speakers that I listen to is Inky Johnson. And when he is asked what his definition of a leader is, it's the person that goes first. He says, somebody's got to go first. And that should be whoever the leader is. Like, you want to ask what a leader is, it's that guy that goes first. So, I don't know. Just some food for thought on a Thursday. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope you guys finish strong on this week. I'm going to get to the rest of my drive. This fog is heavy, so everybody stay safe out there. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to hear about, if you got any questions, anything at all, man. And if you don't care, then just don't do any of it. But share some of this content if you can. Make sure you click the notification button down in the corner so you get notified whenever I post videos or anything at all. Man, I hope you guys go kill it. God bless, and I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm out.